So I want to make our time today that we talk about this thing called kindness. I want it to be memorable. I want it to be incredibly fun, because one of the secrets about kindness, it's incredibly fun. And a day without fun, a day without kindness, a day without joy is a day wasted. But most of all, I want this time to be valuable. I want it to serve you, serve your practice, serve our communities, serve our children, and serve our world. Ever. This 2020 is going to be oh no. But here's what gets me. That means 27% are oh no. That means that 76% of the people across all industries, including the dental industry, are they either just okay or oh no. How do you turn that upside down? How do you make that transform? Well, it starts with the most simple and actionable key you can bring to your team and transform it with, which is called kindness. Kindness is the key to elevating that level of engagement. Okay, now, open up your eyes. Lift up your right arm, point your index finger, give her a whirl. See what happens. Go for it. All right, so here's where you get to be rowdy Crown Council superstars. Everybody went a whole bunch further, go, wow! Isn't that cool? You got a great thing to do at your next morning meeting. Come on, baby, we're spinning. All right, so let me see the hands. Everybody went a whole bunch further. Isn't that cool? Now, I have a question for you, important question. How does that work? And I got an answer for you because we're on a schedule here. I don't know how it works. I don't know enough about physiology to tell you everything. I know a few things, but I do know this, and this is where your breakthrough to kindness begins. This is where you change a culture, where it must start. What was the first and foremost thing that you changed between the first time you did it and the last time you did it? You can call it a goal, a belief, an objective, all true. But what you changed in a practical, foundational, simple sense was you changed your vision. You set for yourself a new visual destination. And here's why this really rocks. And here's why breaking through to a whole new level of kindness in your organization is so accessible, it's already inside of you. Because think about it. You could have gone as far in the first place as you did in the last place. You simply didn't see it. In other words, not one of us got a new body between the first time we did it and the last time we did it. It was already in you to go that far. You simply didn't see yourself going that far. And that's the way it is with that new level, that culture of kindness. All right, so what must you focus on? What must be our new destination if we want to transform our practice? If we want to transform our world? All right, what we got to do is set a new destination. And that destination, all right, that can transform everything you do is called your kindness value proposition, your KVP. It is, in a nutshell, a new destination from where you've been in the way you look at bringing kindness into your world. All right, the kindness value proposition. Now, the KVP will affect your practice, your industry, your life, in three key ways. These are the ones that make the biggest difference in whether you're going to be at the top of the dental industry or the middle, whether you're going to be oh yeah or just okay. And those three areas that it affects, the first is called people. I know you, if you were asked, say that you're in the dental industry, and that is true, but never forget you are in the people industry. Your vehicle is dentistry, but what you're really about is people, relationships. And the most important in your practice is retaining wonderful people, the oh yeahs, and acquiring great people, the oh yeahs. And this KVP will transform that. The second is called performance, because you gotta be successful to be able to do all you want for your team, for your family. All right, how do you get to that higher level of performance, and how does kindness fit in? We're gonna learn about that in a minute. And finally, it boosts that brand strength. In the quick service food industry, we turn over almost twice a year, all of our employees, 170%. But the company that has a KVP, that isn't so much worried about their chicken, but the way they treat people, guess what the turnover rate annually at Chick-fil-A is? 14%. 14%. And when you figure it costs $6,000 every time you have to hire a new employee to replace another one, that runs up to about over $300 million in annual savings. Kindness rocks, kindness works, kindness builds people. You know, fun and connecting people is awesome. And that company, all right, is Southwest Airlines. Now, Southwest Airlines has a KVP that's all about adding the element of fun to kindness. And their KVP is having fun and connecting people. Now, when they started out, everybody laughed at them. Everybody said they'll never make it. Today, they are the largest domestic American airline. They move more people every day than any other airline. Now, the Southwest Airlines have smarter people than the other airlines. Yes, they do. They don't charge you for bags. They're very smart. Now, they're not smarter. They come out the same, but they are driven by this KVP. It started way back when their founder, Herb Kelleher, said things that nobody ever said in business. People don't talk about kindness. They think kindness is soft. They think kindness is weak. It's the opposite. You're learning that right now. Herb Kelleher constantly talked about not how he was proud of his team. He constantly talked about how he loved his team, how he loved every person on that team. All right, and that so much that their home field is called Love Field. All right, so KVP is mighty powerful. All right, and what they understand is the same thing that absolutely is vital in the dentistry world. They understand that people don't buy you for your clinical dentistry excellence. It's true. They expect it. They expect you to have good dental care. What people buy for, 70% of the buying experience is based upon how people feel they're treated. And I don't talk about clinical treatment, I'm talking about the way you make me feel. Defined it for me in a way that I think could serve your group, serve your practice. And what I came away with was a way to deliver kindness in a way that you can grab a hold of it and own it and take it into every day. And what we came up with was called the 4 W's. All right, it's the 4 W's. This is just a way to deliver kindness. And the first W is called welcome. What they realized is that many times they did not make patients feel welcome. Whether it was the way they talked to them on the phone as if they were just a schedule on an appointment, whether they didn't proactively rise up and smile to meet them, whether it was somebody coming into a room who's fixing the air conditioner but doesn't even pretend to see them. They said, we got to do a better job of welcoming. And I realized that welcoming is absolutely a woo, a W-O. Incidentally, woo is my favorite word. So on 3, everybody say woo. Ready? 1, 2, 3, woo. Say it again, woo. Anybody ask what we talked about today? You say woo. Now, woo stands for something. Woo stands for window of opportunity. The woo is the window of opportunity. And every interaction with a patient is an opportunity for a woo, all right, to make them feel incredibly welcome. So we started to think about ways that we could improve welcoming. The second W seems really obvious when we're talking about kindness, and it's called warmth, all right? But here's a very specific piece of warmth that'll make the difference for you as it made a difference for them. It's about being warm, being kind to unkind people. It is easy to be kind to kind people. It's automatic. But what about when people are scared? What about when people are stressed? What about when people are snippety? What about when people are worried and frightened and they're not themselves? That's when kindness really transforms. That's the warmth that they were missing. So we had the first 2 W's, welcome and warmth. But the third one was the biggest one. It might be the biggest one in your team. And that third W was called we. And the challenge was they realized they talked so much about welcome and warmth to their patients, but they were not welcoming and warm to each other, that they were totally siloed. All right? The labor and delivery set themselves off from postpartum. Postpartum and labor and delivery set themselves off from NICU. Night shift and day shift were separate groups. So I asked them an incredible question you can ask about your own team. Simple question. I said, who's most important here? And wham, they saw the truth that we're a we. Everyone's important. Everyone's important. Every time you interact with someone, means you are that practice. You are that organization. You are Kaiser Permanente. And so if we can't be welcoming and warm to each other, how are we going to actually do it to our patients? So with those 3 W's, the ones they control, welcome, warmth, they got to what they were going for, which is called world class. And after 1 quarter, 3 months of creating this new vision for delivering kindness called the 4 W's, after 2 years of being stuck under 60, they climbed to 86 on the next rating. The next quarter after that, by focusing more and more, building it more, creating that upward spiral, they went over 90. They've never gone back. Kindness rocks, kindness works. I'm going to ask a color question. What color is a yield sign? Or yellow. Do you know that more than 45 years ago, the United States switched to the international sign standards? And every yield sign that everyone in this room has seen for 45 years is not yellow, it's red and white. It looks exactly like that. In my practice, we don't yield to nobody. In building your culture, where does it matter to you and your family? Where does it matter to you in this life to no longer depend upon your memory to see? One word. People. People. Change the way you look at people, the people you look at change. Change the way you look at yourself, the self you see will change. That's what it takes to really deliver kindness, to see yourself differently. I want you to get how powerful and amazing this thing can be, because there is no kindness when you use your memory to see. All right? And you talk about seeing a yield sign. When my oldest daughter, Kelsey, went away to college, oh my goodness, we missed her so much. But you talk about seeing a yield sign for the first time. When my daughter, Kelsey, came home the very first time from college for Thanksgiving holiday, I finally had a huge breakthrough. I finally realized how long I have been looking at my beautiful daughter. Though I love her completely, I have been staring at her forever as if she were an old yellow yield sign. I've been looking at her like she's still my 10-year-old little girl. Hey, she's been driving her own car for 2.5 years. Every morning she's waking up hundreds and hundreds of miles away and deciding what she's going to do with the greatest gift of all, called today. She walked in our door that Thanksgiving. Right, a smile the size of North Carolina, sparkling eyes, immediately announced to her mother and I that she'd already applied for, already been accepted to go do a very special service program in Ghana, in Africa. Because like you with your Smiles initiative, like Kindness for Kids, Kelsey wants to make the world better. And I looked at my daughter that day, maybe for the very first time. And I finally understood. I finally understood I had not been kind to her. I finally understood that every time I looked at her as if she were an old yellow yield sign, what happened to our relationship? It went backwards until I looked at the beauty, the grace, the wisdom, the powerful woman that was right in front of me all along. Does that make sense? One of my most powerful goals for everyone in this room, because it's vital to build this culture of kindness, is for everyone to rise up from this moment forward and become a world-class yield sign finder. About the people that you lead and serve, about the people that you love, but most of all about the person you look in the mirror. Because when you change the way you look at people, the people you look at change. Change the way you look at yourself, the self you see will change. And the way you must see yourself, if you're going to transform your organization, take this new level of kindness, which we've seen creates unbelievable results, is from here on out, you're going to see yourself with a new title. Now, not everyone is a CEO, not everyone is a COO. But from today forward, you just entered the executive suite, because this is one you can own no matter if you're the newest or the oldest person in your organization. From here on out, you want to change your culture, everyone must become a CKO. And that CKO is the Chief Kindness Officer. And that's all about choice. All right? And the CKO is just seeing yourself at a new destination from who you are. And CKOs break through from oh no to oh yeah in a very powerful way. 3 elements. First is called E-Power. Second is called gratitude. And finally, the last is called presence. All right? The last little story I want to tell you about is about the greatest gift I was ever given. And it was given to me my 2 greatest teachers, my daughters, Kelsey and Jenna, when they were 8 and 3 years old. And when they were 8 and 3 years old, we had moved to Montana so I would be present with my family, that I would be there for them all the time, that I would wake them up in the morning, get ready for school, and I'd be there at night to tuck them in before they got to sleep. But every night as I was about to tuck them in and be the dad I wanted to be, I did something, I made a big mistake. I walked by my office on the way to their room. And you know what I saw in my office on my desk? I saw my phone. And weirdest thing, these phones plugged into walls. Really weird. All right. I saw my phone, and I knew that in the short time I'd been away from my desk, I would have 10 voicemails. This was really before there was a lot of email. And so I got this idea. Well, I'll go in and knock off about 5 or 6 of these voicemails while they brush their teeth and get ready for bed. Well, you know what happened? An hour later, I put the phone down. I remember so many nights standing in their doorway in the dark. They shared bunk beds, looking in at my beautiful daughters who didn't know I was there, walking in and giving them a kiss they didn't know they received, and standing with this empty feeling in my heart thinking, tomorrow I'll get this right. But the next day, the phone was still there, and this turned into days that rolled into weeks that turned into months. Until one night, as I was reaching for the phone, all I can explain is I felt my daughters behind me. I couldn't see them, but I felt their light. And so I turned around and I looked, and sure enough, they ran to me. Jenna was 3 at the time. She crawled up in my lap, got her head under my arm, kind of like a golden retriever waiting to get petted. Kelsey was 8 years old. She was 4 feet tall by 7 pounds, put her arm around me. And I looked at them, I said, girls, what are you doing? This is so cool. And they said, Daddy, before we go to sleep tonight, we just want to ask you something. I said, what is it, girls? And they grabbed my heart and they shook it. And they changed my life. And they opened me up to a kindness I had been missing. And they said very simply, Daddy, we just want to ask you, do you love your phone more than you love us? I felt the blade go in. Emerson said, what you do screams so loudly I can't hear a word you're saying. I was living my life as if my phone was a higher priority than my children. Well, I will tell you, I tucked them in that night. And I never missed another night when I was home. I changed my whole life. I changed my calendar. I would never do more than 7 events a month. All right, so I would be there to tuck them in at night. And I thought I was doing it for them. Do you know that every dimension of our lives, professionally, personally, family-wise, grows from that decision to be more fully present? You don't get less done when you're fully present. You get more done.
Hi there. I'm Brian Biro, America's Breakthrough Coach. And I've worked with many of you before. I'm known as America's Breakthrough Coach because I've had 500,000 people over the last 28 years break boards as a metaphor of breaking through fears, obstacles, habits, or doubts. Now, up till now, whenever I've had all of the participants, and I've done this with as many as 4,000 people, when I've had all the participants break board, the least amount of time that I've been able to fit that in has been 2.5 hours. Well, the exciting announcement today for you and your clients is that I've now found a way to give great content, great value, and the breakthrough experience for all participants as a keynote in 75 minutes to 90 minutes. I'm so thrilled to do this because the world is getting faster. And now you have the opportunity to offer your clients a completely unique breakthrough keynote. In an hour and a half, 75 minutes, every participant, up to 2,000 people, can break boards and receive lasting impact and content to help them in their business, in their leadership, in their personal lives, in their lives. So I'm so thrilled to bring this change to you. It's something that I really feel great about. And I know that together we can make this something that really expands the reach that we have into more events, more opportunities, more excitement, and more value. Thanks so much.